right, so first one, we need to go ahead and be able to write an inequality for the statement, movie tickets cost at least $8. You want to buy as many tickets as possible with 36, right? And solve an inequality. Tell how many tickets you can buy. What did I tell you to always start with? Total. So the total here is 36, right? Okay, so we want 36 to be our total. And then we have to decide if we want this symbol or this symbol. So you kind of have to decide what goes on this side. So you have movie tickets. You want to buy as many tickets as possible with 36. So imagine, can you spend more than 36 or less than 36? Less than, because that's the most that you have, which means that if that is the most you can have, it has to be this symbol because all of this has to be tinier than that, okay? So I start there. Then I decide if it can equal that, okay? Can you spend exactly $36? Yeah, this question says you want to buy as many tickets possible with 36. So it means if you could possibly spend exactly 36, that would be okay. All right, so how are you going to figure out this side then? What needs to go on the other side of that, Kathy? AT, and you decided T for tickets. So that would be 8T. Very good. So now we need to find the solution. So how do we find the solution of that? See? Okay, I can think that. What else do I need to do mathematically?
We divide both sides by 8.
Good. Divide both sides by 8. So divide both sides. Divide by 8. Divide by 8. So T is less than or equal to how much? 4. It's not exact, is it? 4 times 8 is 32. So I could say 8 goes into 36 4 whole times. That would be 32 with how many left over? 4. So 4 and 4/8 would be 4 and 1/2. Now, this is talking about money, or no, actually it's not. You want to buy as many tickets as possible with 36. So you can buy 4.5 tickets. Does it make sense to buy a half a ticket? No. So it's going to have to be basically 4 in real life. So you could buy 4 tickets, 3 tickets, 2 tickets, or 1 ticket. All right. Oh, and it even says that. So how many tickets could you buy here? 4 or less. That's it. Except I think it said you wanted to buy as many as possible. So you want to buy 4. All right. Next one. Solve this one. How do I solve that one? Multiply. I want to multiply both sides by what? -4. Good. Now, what did I teach you yesterday? Dividing or multiplying by a negative number. Either one. So because I just multiplied both sides by -4, that is going to reverse my inequality symbol. So this is going to reverse this way. So I have S is greater than -16. And this one did not ask me to graph it, so I would be done. So that was the big rule yesterday. Multiplying or dividing by a negative number. Okay, all right. Then it asks you to find the error. A classmate solves the inequality -5b is greater than 40. Her solution is shown below. Explain how to use substitution to determine if her solution is correct. Who knows what the issue is here? What can you tell me what the issue is? What?
It says 14, not 4.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's a 14. I drew my blue right over it, so I couldn't see it. Oh, sorry. Okay, 14 times 4 is 1656? Okay, sorry. Couldn't read it. All right, there we go. Got that one fixed. Okay, what is the mistake on that next one? Because that can help. She needed to flip the sign because you should have divided by a -5. So when it says explain how to use substitution to tell if her solution is correct, that's what we did yesterday in class. So give me a number that's greater than -8. Okay, -7, 0. Okay, I love to use easy numbers. So I would probably go with 0 because 0 is greater than -8. And then they want you to substitute it, meaning put it back up in here. So -5 times 0, is that greater than 40? -5 times 0 is 0. Is that greater than 40? No. So that's why we know her solution is incorrect, because that doesn't work. Okay, I could put any number in there I wanted. You guys told me -7 a second ago. Okay, if I put in -7 and I put in -7 here, 5 times -7 is a positive 35. 35 is not greater than 40. And that's why we talked about yesterday, if you multiply or divide by a negative number, you have to reverse the inequality. Because once you reverse it, then all of your answers are going to be correct. Once that's reversed, then this is going to work every time. Okay? All right. Any questions on that before we move on today? The cool thing about today is it's exactly what we've been doing the last 2 days. We're just putting it together. So all of the rules are the same. I'm not going to show you anything new today. Just kind of putting it all together. All right. Learning goal today. The student will understand how to solve and graph two-step inequalities because everything we've done up to this point has just been the one-stepper. All right. So let's go back and review how to do two-step equations. And I think it'd be helpful to kind of go over the graphing again. All right, what would I do if this was just a normal equation? What would be my first step here? Cassie?
You'd add 8.
You'd add 8 to both sides because this is subtract 8. So I'm going to add 8. If I add 8, does that reverse my inequality? No, because when's the only time it reverses? Multiplication or division by a negative number. Good. So adding 8 does not change anything. Okay, so this is the exact same. So for F, I'm going to keep the greater than or equal to sign, then negative 20 plus 8. So I'm going to think about money exchange. I owe you 20. I pay you back 8. What's my balance? Not 12. Negative 12. I still owe you 12. Okay? All right, so the next step here, this would have been what we did yesterday. I divide by 4. So I'm going to take both sides and divide by 4. Does dividing by 4 change my inequality? No, because I'm dividing by a positive number. Dividing by a positive number does not reverse the inequality. So it's going to say F is greater than or equal to negative 12 divided by 4? Negative 3. Okay, so first of all, this is part of my answer. That is the answer. F is greater than or equal to negative 3. When I was working with some of my morning kids, they were forgetting to write that. That would be no different than when we did equals. You wrote like n equals 8. You can't forget that. That's the answer. Then the next step is to graph it. So is this an open circle or a closed circle? Closed circle because it includes negative 3 because it has the line underneath it. So I'm going to go negative 3 and make a closed circle. I still have a lot of people struggling with which way to shade. Remember, it's always going to eat the biggest number. So right now, it is eating the F. So which means the F has to be larger than negative 3. So what's a number larger than negative 3? 0. 0. 0 is larger than negative 3. All positives are bigger than negative 3. So you want to shade this direction towards the positives because all of those are bigger than negative 3. Remember those silly starburst things. It's going to eat the more starburst. So it doesn't want the negative 3. It wants more. Okay, all right, let's look at the next one. What would be my first step on the next one? Kendall. Minus 20, very good. So I draw my line and then I do minus 20. Minus 20, minus 20. All right, so here a negative 3x is going to drop down. Does my sign change?
Yeah, because you
Well, hold on, does it change yet?
No.
No, subtracting 20 does not change the sign. So now I'm going to think about money. So it says I have $8 in my pocket, but I owe you 20. What's my balance? Negative 12. Now what do I do?
Divide by negative 3.
Now I divide by a negative 3. And that also, because I'm dividing by a negative number, my inequality sign has to reverse. That is the trick. Okay? So then this side, these 3's cancel out and I get x. On the right-hand side, a negative 12 and negative 3 gives me a positive 4. Open or closed circle? Open, good, because it does not include 4. That's why it's open. It's saying things greater than 4. Okay? So once I'm greater than 4, I'm going to eat more starbursts. So I want to eat more starbursts for the x, so that's going to make it shade to the right or to the left? To the right, because 5 is greater than 4. I would rather have 5 than 4. And there's my arrow. Okay, questions on those two? Before we go on to some word problems? Okay, because tomorrow is going to be solve multi-step inequalities. You're just going to go up one more. That's it. All right, let's make sure that we can do some word problems with this. Again, I like that it gives you some choices so that kind of helps you figure out what they're supposed to look like. All right, so these are all matching. So the first one says 9 plus 5.5 times a number is more than 50. Okay, which one of those can you knock out for sure? 9 plus 5.5 times a number is more than 50. Dominic. The first one, because the first one says subtraction, right? So there's no way it's the first choice. So it either has to be, let me number these. It either has to be choice 2 or choice 3, okay? Which one is it? Those two are very different. Which one is it? And then tell me why. Cassie?
2 because it was larger. Because the sign says that it's larger than 50.
Okay, so you're looking at the words more than 50. Yes, that would be one way. Tegan?
2 because it says for 5.5 times the number, and that was 5.5.
Very good. So 2 ways. She said more than 50. Here's the more than sign, or greater than. So that's one way. The second way is that it says 5.5 times a number. This one has 5.5 times a number. This one does not. So those are the 2 ways to tell. All right, so we're going to say that this one is number 2. All right, let's look at the next one. A lunch special costs $9. Egyptology? Does that sound right? It's Egyptology. Okay, club can spend at most $50. How many lunch specials can they order if they also have to share a dessert that costs $5.50? Okay, so think about, is the 9 going to be repeated over and over and over again, or is the $5.50 going to be repeated over and over and over again? Which one, Catherine? The 9. Why isn't the $5.50 going to be repeated over and over and over again? Because that's what? The cost of one dessert, right? Because they're going to share it. So which one of those is going to say the 9 goes over and over and over again? Which choice? That's choice 3, right? Because it's 9 in. So in would be each lunch you buy plus $5.50 for the dessert. And then it says right here, they can spend at most 50. So they can't spend any more than 50. That's the maximum amount they have. That's what this is saying. They're saying here the most is 50. This side has to be smaller. So that would be choice 3. Now, obviously we know the last one's choice 1, but let's make sure we understand why. You read a 50-page chapter. Wow, that's a lot. 50-page chapter about the early Egyptians at the rate of 5.5 pages per minute. Oh, maybe that was like children's book, right? Okay. After how many minutes will you have fewer than 9 pages left? Okay, so let's see if this makes sense. So you read 50, okay, and you have 9 pages left. So you want this side to be less than 9 pages, and then you can read 5.5 per minute. So you start with 50, and you're taking off 5.5 per minute until you get less than 9. Does that make sense? It's a little confusing because that's not usually the way we look at it. Okay, questions on that one? All right. Let's see what else I have. All right, I think, is that my last slide? Yeah. Okay, I think I want you to try this one. All right, I'm seeing this, and I'm seeing this, and it says half of a number is at most 23.5, which means that is the maximum or equal to. So this is all the stuff I'm seeing that looks pretty good. Now, we need to tweak that first part. So what do you think? It says half of a number t. How would you write that? 0.5t. Okay, 0.5t. Other options? T divided by 2. Any other options? I saw this. I walked around. Kendall? 1/2 times t. Okay, so those are all the different options you could have. So my favorite option is probably that one, this one. Okay, my next favorite option is probably this one. And then my last favorite option is this one because I like us to use fractions whenever possible. So this would be correct, or if you did this, or that. Okay, questions on that? Okay, so I'm going to pass